For the first time in our coverage of truck and tractor pulling, we bring you the snarly little rascals known as the mini rods. Now, a whole bunch of them pulled earlier today in the Astrodome, and these are the tractors that all made a full pull. So now they're involved in what is known in this sport as a pull-off.
I tell you what we're looking at is a little dragster here with a low gear. That's what they all are. Look at that thing generate power. Wow, with a roar and a scream. And look at him pull the sled.
But I think the balance was way, way off for Scott EIGHMEY from Ida, Michigan. The front wheel should have been dancing a little bit.
Yeah, it should have been able to pull the front end up to try and transfer that weight back. 169.43 feet. Well, that's the benchmark at the moment. Perhaps you noticed that little bitty sled behind these mini rods. Earlier, Steve took a look.
Meet the weight transfer device known as the Ridge Runner. For mini rods, you need a mini sled. And this is it. Now, it may be compact, but it has all the features of its big brothers. There's a rider in here for safety reasons. Should anything go wrong, he can stop the whole act. Now, the most noticeable difference is right here, the weight box. You just don't need as much. Even though these tractors have over 1,500 horsepower, they don't have the weight for traction that would enable them to put on a good show pulling the big sled. But like the big sled, there's a gasoline engine down here that brings the weight box back after a pull as the sled is being towed back by a tractor. Now, like the big guys, it also is transferred through chains and transmissions and rear ends out of diesel trucks. Now, when it is fully transferred and reaches a stop here on top of the skid pan, it can exert about 12,000 pounds as opposed to 60 or 70,000 on the big sleds.
So that's what creates the weight and the challenge. Now, here is Larry KOESTER. Now, he is a double amputee. You talk about a man with spirit. Boy, he loves being in this, and perhaps aptly he shows a little bit of his sense of humor calling the machine Footloose.
He's a courageous guy, Paul, and very well liked in the mini rod ranks. And it appeared that Scott EIGHMEY, the first puller, really didn't throw down much of a gauntlet at 169 feet. So we'll just see how Larry can do. He's about ready to bring up the RPM and squeeze into that throttle, or maybe slam it down. I'm not sure how you drive a mini rod. Looks like he slammed it down to me.
Yeah, he certainly poured the power to that. He's a fellow Hoosier from my home state of Indiana. He has a nice run going. And listen to the power roar up on that thing. Larry KOESTER, he's still spinning them as he digs them into the ground.
He was looking for just another inch if he could get it. An awful lot of blow-by was coming out of the bottom of that motor, so it may be just a little bit tired. 248.78 feet. Well, we'll just have to see how that holds up to the onslaught to come. Now, what's underneath the engine as this pull progresses? A certain amount of compression was blowing by the rings into the oil pan and out the blow-by device on the bottom there. If you've got a car that smokes, your family car, you know exactly what I mean. When you take off the oil filler cap, that stuff that comes out is called blow-by. It's going by the ring. Unlike Scott EIGHMEY, Larry had the front wheels up nicely for weight transfer and more traction. Larry's always smiling, but this time I think it'll be broad.
Well, let's see if he's smiling this time. Yes, he is. That was a good pull. Well, you know, they changed the weight box a whole bunch. We had so I'm pretty pleased. Maybe it'll hold up. You've been around these guys a long time now. As you look back at the ones that have still got a pull, anybody can beat you? They're all tough. They're all real tough. Hang around with us for a minute. We'll see if you can stay on time. We're trying to be number one.
Well, there's no question. They are tough. It's become a tough little class. This is the first time we're seeing it, and it's providing us with some great action.
And I'm glad to see, Paul, that the TNT is really enforcing the safety rules. Take a look. These guys wear no-neck suits and helmets and neck braces and shoulder straps, all the things you should have in an animal like this, really.
You'll also see the drivers follow the rules and from time to time take his hands off the controls to assure everybody that he's neutral. The machines are safe. This turns out, because of those kind of rules, to be a very safe sport.
Boy, Ron didn't waste any time at all. As soon as he saw that green flag, he got on the accelerator pedal. And this is a nice pull. Oh, but that's gonna just kill his distance. He got sideways, one wheel driving more than the other. He couldn't correct with the brakes in time. Steering wheel's useless when the wheels are off the ground. For VANDER took 226 feet in change, and that will put him in the second spot at the moment from Marion, Michigan.
Now, he's not doing a whole lot of steering with those little front wheels. He does it with the rears, and you can see he got a little sideways right off, and the correction pulled a lot of power away, and that affected the run.
Well, Ronald, it wasn't quite what you wanted, but you made a good effort at it. Yeah, I didn't have my weight right on the pull-off. I missed that a little bit. Seems like every time you go up and down this thing, you learn something. Do you pick something up then? Oh, yeah, every time. Good luck. Thank you.
So Ron VANDER at this point in the competition finds himself in the second position. Larry Koester, with a nice effort at 248 feet, is the leader. We'll be back with more action from the Astrodome.
We're back at the Houston Astrodome. I'm Paul Page with Steve Evans. This is earlier. This is Tommy Cordell, who had a really wonderful run going for himself and would have made it into the situation we have with several full pulls and therefore the pull-off. But then he got all over the place. Something broke out of the bottom of the engine, kicked some oil out. That lit up, and, well, obviously, his day was done. That's not something you're going to repair here in the Astrodome. As he walked away, he talked with Pat Patterson.
Tommy, that was a fiery ending to a pretty rough run there. That thing broke to the left on you, and you managed to still keep it all the way down the track.
Yeah, we managed to get it down there. It come back on its own. I didn't have to break it in. It's just an oil fire is all it is.
Well, that was wishful thinking on Tommy's part, because further inspection showed there was far more damage than a leaking valve cover gasket. Here you see a tremendous fire, and why earlier I talked about the necessity in these machines, particularly for strong driver safety equipment. And it all paid off for Tommy Cordell, but unfortunately he was not to become the 7th driver in the pull-off. And Paul, you notice with all his problems, Tommy pulled that sled very easily. That's not the case now. Every competitor that was involved in the first round knows they better make more power and probably use a lower gear if they're going to pull this much heavier sled in the pull-off.
Yeah, there's been a lot of talking, a lot of thinking, and some changes on some of the machines. Well, that wasn't a hook. He wants to get that machine back in the exact place that he scouted out earlier.
Well, that's why he's won 4 championships in this class. We're talking about GLYNN GUENTHER in the Tuff-E-Nuff. And the attention to paint and detail and chrome and polish shows a lot of pride.
Oh, you see some beautiful machines anytime you come to a tractor pull. There's the distance to beat. GLYNN GUENTHER is a man that definitely knows how to do it. Let's see if he can actually get it done. Green flag is out, and he powers it up fast and quick, comes out with a good run.
The front end came up exactly when he needed the weight transfer for traction. Oh, this is not a good run. This is a perfect run. What they call a full pull.
Unbelievable. Nice. It was kind of fun, too. While the rears were spinning and the front end was off the ground, Glenn was still kicking the steering wheel back and forth a little bit, hoping it might steer some.
Boy, here's how it ought to be done in the mini rod class. Watch GLYNN GUENTHER. I was worried for a minute there, Paul, that he had the weight up. He knew exactly what he was doing. He knew that centrifugal clutch was going to kick in just at the right time, bring up that front end as the box came where he needed the weight transfer. What a beautifully balanced, prepared tractor, and a fine drive as well. Let's go down to Pat to talk to the full puller.
Well, Glenn, Tuff-E-Nuff was tough enough tonight. You did a great job out there. Thank you very much. How was the pass? Is the track still as good as it was in that first pass? And did you make the adjustment that you thought you needed to make the next full pull? The track is staying together real good. We moved a little late. We did okay. Good luck. Thank you.